Let's talk about sex, baby.
All right.
Let's talk about you.
Back at it again.
Welcome back to the happy hour.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. I hope everybody has their drinks. We've got ours.
Cheers.
Cheers. Wanted to thank everybody who has given us feedback so far. It's been...
Like 3 people.
No, I've gotten from others.
I heard 3 people. Step it up, y'all.
There have been quite a few people who have given us feedback, ways to make it better.
I want real feedback.
Shout outs.
I'm not sensitive.
I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to leave anyone out. So
Yeah, but I'm that sensitive. Don't give me too much feedback. A little bit of feedback.
Thank you to everybody so far for watching and listening.
Appreciate it.
Today, as promised,
All right, we're getting into some sex talk.
we're going to be talking
This
about
should be
sex.
the highly viewed one right here.
It should be. So let's kick it off.
What? You gonna kick it off?
Mm-hmm.
Sex talk?
Sex talk.
All right. I'm putting a disclaimer out there that I'm on no one side, whether you're a man or a woman. I am not on your side. I'm on truth's side. Remember that.
Y'all heard it. Also, quick disclaimer. What folks do in their bedrooms is their own business.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
For all of you scared about what might come out of our mouths in
You
this
should
episode,
be. You should be.
relax. You should not be. We're going to be talking really generally about sex.
She is.
We're going to be talking really generally about
I'm
sex.
specifically talking to certain people.
All right. So we mentioned in a previous episode that we read a book called Sheet Music.
Yeah, we should have brought that in here so we could show them, but
We only bought the ebook.
no, we have actual, because remember, I don't like ebooks. I like to feel it in my hand, turn pages. I have the actual sheet music book. It's on the bookshelf, trust me. I'm sure you have to. I'm not going to get it. But sheet music, really good book to help you talk about sex if you're having problems communicating to your significant other about sex.
I will drop a link to that book
I will not.
in the comments or in the... Oh, God, y'all.
It's that drink.
In the description. It's not. He made me a really good drink, though. It's got a little cayenne. It's a little spicy, a little sweet. What is this, gin?
It's gin.
Gin. It's good. I will drop a link to it. It was such a great book for us. So we got married pretty young.
I wasn't that young.
For a man, he was young.
That was, I guess, 26.
Mm-hmm. Y'all women know what I'm talking about, right? For
I
a
mean, I
man,
know people
he
that got
was
married at
young.
18. That's young.
Yes.
I was grown.
I was 23
Mhm.
when we got married, and I will be very honest, I didn't know myself very well. And all of you who have known me for many, many years know my mouth's a little hot. And
A little? Wait. I thought we was telling the truth. Go ahead.
it's a little hot, and I'm not always the most tactful. And so learning how to discuss sex in our marriage took a lot of practice.
And let's not put it all on her like she had to bring it up or something, because I want y'all to know talking about sex and marriage is a big ego bruiser for most men. And I am not exempt from that.
But the truth is, realistically, no two people are the same.
True.
So, whether you go into sex as a virgin, I mean, if you
You
go
mean
into
that-
sex as a
I
virgin,
mean,
or sorry,
yeah.
if you go into sex in marriage as a virgin,
Yeah, there you go.
right? Or your first time, you can't know what you like, right? I mean, we see stuff on movies, books, shows.
Messing people up.
It just messes you up, man. It tells you that you should have these passionate, fiery, spontaneous moments.
Like when you knock everything on the floor, I'm like, who's cleaning that up? Whenever I see that movie, I'm like, who's cleaning that up afterward?
Nobody wants to
I'll be
clean that up,
tired
kid.
after.
This is what I'm
Crazy.
saying. That's madness.
Try everything I can to knock stuff off.
Can we not break stuff? We bought
We gotta
that.
pay for that if it break for real. Like, what are you doing?
Listen,
I'd
movies.
be mad.
I'd be so mad. Movies and shows mess us up. I don't know. Maybe y'all do. Again, I don't know what y'all do in your bedrooms, but I don't know anybody that just kind of like jumps on a counter right after work and has at it, right? Like,
I mean, more power to you if that's what you're doing.
power
But
to you. After work, I'm usually tired.
Tired is one of sex's most potent foes.
I'm usually tired. And I'll tell you, there are a few things, and you can tell me if you disagree, that
Oh, I will.
sex requires. Straight off top, you got to be emotionally present.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've had a hard day where everyone pissed you off and you didn't want to lose your job today, so you kept it together, you probably come home a little emotionally drained.
That could happen.
For some people, this is a release. Great.
May work for some people.
It involves you being a little vulnerable,
I would say more than a little.
both emotionally and physically.
Yeah.
It requires energy,
Lots.
physical and emotional energy.
Lots.
And truthfully, after a long day, I don't always have that to give.
No.
And neither do you.
No.
Sometimes I just want to sit down and read a book, sit in silence. I'm not feeling sexy.
Yeah.
I'm feeling, maybe it's, I'm bloated. I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah. That could happen.
So how do you have these conversations?
I mean, I always feel sexy, but that's just me. You're walking around going, because I'm sexy and I know it.
If you are under 30 and
You
you
don't get
got that,
You don't get that. You wasn't born.
props.
You wasn't born.
That's amazing.
But yeah, some people, they don't feel sexy sometimes. And then if you don't feel sexy, you're not going to want to have sex. You're like, why?
I mean, this was a thing, and if you don't know how to have those conversations, those emotionally vulnerable conversations, we went through this where I would very much just be like silent. He might kiss me, he might try. I'd go to sleep, y'all. My pillow felt good. I was tired,
I mean, she got a nice pillow.
and I just assumed that he knew I was tired and that I meant nothing by it. But there definitely came a point of enough of that happening where I don't know. I think you felt a little put off.
Yeah, it's like, she don't want me. It's fine. I'm still sexy and I know it.
Shout out to 112.
Word. But yeah, for real. I mean, sometimes you have to put in a little more effort. If you ain't getting what you want, you gonna have to do some more, because maybe you need to put forth that effort to show that person that I really want you, and they're not getting the signals that you're sending. So you may have to be more overt, more purposeful, and more vocal sometimes. I want to have sex. I find you very sexy.
Why does this even matter, though?
Why does what even matter?
Why does it matter? It's just to get off. Why does it matter?
I mean, that's one part of it, because it is a release. But I mean, it joins you more. It's more of a connection that it's like an unspoken connection.
Intimacy,
That's a better way to say it.
right? It brings such a level of intimacy. I mean, good sex in a marriage can honestly help you just be graceful to your spouse, and because you've connected in a way that maybe you've forgotten to connect. It's harder to, at least for me, it's harder to stay very angry at someone I've just connected with in that way. And so keeping it regular is important, even when you're tired.
Yeah. I mean, keeping it regular is hard, especially when you're both working hard and you both are being drained emotionally, physically, mentally every day. It's going to be hard to keep it going, but sometimes you got to plan those things and be like, hey,
Saturday.
yeah, no matter what, everything else is irrelevant. It's going down.
Put your phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, don't even pick your phone up.
Don't pick it up. So who starts it?
That really is a hard question to answer, because everybody wants to feel wanted and doesn't want to start it all the time. So I'm going to say whoever didn't start it last time.
So keep tabs? That didn't work too well for us.
It doesn't work well for everyone. Because both people will think that they started it last time.
Facts.
So I guess my advice is start it as much as you can.
That's exactly right.
As long as you have the energy to start it. 'Cause
I would counter with make the energy to. I never have the energy to.
You know how to make energy.
But you know what I mean? Like,
That's
sometimes,
impressive.
I think sometimes you need to overcome your lack of energy
Yeah.
and push through.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
true.
sometimes you need to say, look, I'm tired. I've been tired all week.
That's true.
And so I'm just going to give a little bit more. Some of us give a little bit more going to the gym. Some of us give a little bit more at work. Why should we give our spouse any less?
That's true. You go hard on that last set. You can go hard on that last set. You can save that for later on. Go hard on that set. Or whatever else you're doing that you would take energy for. Save that energy for later. I mean, you don't got to have a bad relationship and all, but you should probably try to save that energy for later. Just a little advice.
So, what if, because this happened to us too, what if I feel like I'm coming off that extra energy and I'm giving this extra amount to you and I don't feel like it's reciprocated? I feel like maybe you fall asleep because that's happened. And that happens 2-3 times. How do I handle that? Because I'm petty.
I mean, don't be petty. I mean, I guess that's step one. Don't be petty. Because, I mean, you never know what's actually going on with the other person at the time. So you have that conversation and actually find out. You don't know.
What's the conversation?
I mean, that's the hard part. Because everybody ain't trying to talk about sex. I'll tell you right now, whenever I knew the conversation was going to be about sex, off top, I was like,
Why?
because when you have a conversation about sex, it's never... Sex was amazing.
That's not
Let's
true.
just continue to do... No, I'm talking about when it was like, we need to talk, and then, you figure out the conversation of sex,
Nothing
it's not going to
good.
be a good one.
Nothing good
That's
comes
what I'm
after
saying.
we need to talk.
Yeah, that's what I'm
so
saying.
maybe don't start the conversation like that.
It's still, no matter what, when you realize it's about sex, you're not going to feel good about it. At least I didn't. I'm better now, but at the point I wasn't.
There's definitely times where our whole conversation was, that was great.
That's true.
End of conversation.
That's true. But what I'm saying is, when the conversation is not that's great and it's about sex, it's an ego hit off top. Well, it was an ego hit for me. Now I realize it's like, well, what do you want when it comes to sex?
What
Because
changed your mind?
that was never a question that I asked.
What changed your mind?
So,
And, well, first of all, why wasn't that a question you asked?
so I thought I was ill. What you mean? Just talking about son. Thought I was ill.
You were ill.
Yeah, but I thought I was the illest. I ain't need nobody telling me nothing.
But again, no two people are alike.
It's true, but
Right?
I
Just because
figured,
what you think you're doing is
I figured
great.
if I was enjoying myself, you had to be. So that's the mindset I went into it. It was the wrong mindset, but that's what it was. And it wasn't until like this took a while. It took a couple of years into our marriage where I was like, wait a minute, what? You want something like different? Oh, guess I should ask. But it wasn't until you read that book.
You read that book, what, year 2? 3? Year
2.
Year 2?
Because it's like, you never know what somebody's really into until they actually tell you, because you don't know what gets me going.
Well, year 1, we talked a lot about.
We talked about it a lot, and I didn't want to have the conversation, and it ended up with us not talking.
I talked about it a lot, I guess.
Yep. I was like, all right. Okay. That's what you want? Okay. That's fine. All my input. It was like at least 30 conversations. My whole input.
Yeah, that wasn't encouraging.
I don't think it was. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I appreciate you being more open.
Yeah. Therapy helps.
I mean, you got more open before therapy.
Yeah, but therapy helps even more.
Fair. Why?
Because you get to, you talk more. The more you talk, the more you're inclined to talk.
Well, what made you change your perspective in the first place? What made you be like, okay, maybe I'm not the illest, or maybe I am the illest, but I need to tweak some things.
I guess just thinking about it, if I felt like I was not getting everything I wanted out of something, I'd want somebody to tell me what they can do to help me get everything out of it. Because it's real selfish to be like, well, I got mine. What you doing?
You ever feel like I did that to you?
No. But I'm saying that's essentially what I was doing.
Okay.
Better hurry up and get yours. Playing games.
He never did that. He never did that. I'm not even gonna let you do that to yourself. Stop it. You did not do that. But you didn't like talking about it.
Nah, never did.
So, I don't know who out there is like me, but if I'm not in the right frame of mind, there's definitely like a, oh God, not right now mindset that sometimes comes over me. And there's definitely times where I have to like reach over that and say, that's really not fair. That's not fair. He had nothing to do with my crap day. He didn't bother me today. In fact, he's been really loving.
Most days.
Most days. And so a lot of that was also me needing to get over myself. There are days that I just, if any of you guys know, I have back problems. There are days when my back just hurts. And I'm like, I don't want to move.
I'm going to tell them about the day your back went out one day. One day. Not today.
Not today.
One day.
Y'all, this guy right here.
That's my favorite story.
Jeez. We'll talk about that another day. It's not a sex story.
Not at all.
It's not a sex story.
So it's a life marriage story.
It is a life marriage story. It's a huge do not do this story.
I mean,
We'll come back to that.
yeah, one day.
Um,
You were saying how you don't always feel like you got to push through.
yeah, sometimes you just got to push through. Sometimes you got to, I mean, a large part of marriage, I'll say, is self-sacrificing, honestly.
That's not all of marriage.
I mean, I guess that's all of marriage, honestly, right? Like, living with somebody is hard, period, right? Shout out to all my college roommates. I love y'all. I'm sorry that I've ever rubbed y'all the wrong way. I am.
Oh.
I didn't speak. Me and my best friend didn't speak. One of my best friends didn't speak for like 2 months over dishes. Living with somebody is hard.
Heavy.
Living with people is hard, right? And so ever more so when you join yourself to somebody and you join yourself for better or for worse, in
people
sickness
forget
and
the
in
worst.
health, right? People forget the worst. The worst, it could be as simple as, I don't feel like it. I don't want to, right? And I don't have the right to take that out on you.
You don't.
And so
I won't stand for it.
you have, though.
No, I took a seat. I took a seat.
What does that mean?
I didn't stand for it. Catch up.
You can't be showing people how slow I am on TV, on a video. Dang.
That wasn't slow. A little wordplay, you know.
No, but for real, like, it's not right to take that out on your spouse. Even if you feel like they should be gracious, right? And on the flip side of that, if you are in tune with your spouse's needs and you see that I'm feeling that way, maybe you started off with a foot rub or a back rub, right? Maybe you started out with just
Massages work.
something really sweet and nice. Maybe you make dinner. Maybe you wash the dishes. Maybe you take something off your mate's plate
Yeah.
so that they have the energy and feel like they can devote some time to this, right? I think we heard like maybe 5 times from 5 different people last year that in marriage, everybody should be giving 100%.
And expecting.
And expecting 0.
That's the hardest thing in the world.
Yo, that thing was so powerful when I heard it. I really had to sit back and be like, I don't know how I feel about this because I have expectations, right? And it's not that you don't have expectations. You have them. But is it fair of me to
Put them.
put them on somebody? Is it fair of me to say, read my mind, read my body language, and I expect that you're going to act like this? That's not right.
Yeah. Especially if we never even talked about it. Even if we did talk about it. If I don't know how to get to your expectations, what am I supposed to do? I don't know how to read minds.
So maybe I come through the door and I say, baby, I've had a hard, long day and I'm so tired. And maybe the response isn't, we don't have sex tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the response is, what can I do to make your night better?
Yeah.
Simple. Maybe I don't have an answer. Maybe the response is actually just doing something. You know what, babe? You go take a nice long shower. You relax. I'm going to come up and rub your feet.
Yeah.
I tell you, those small things make such a huge difference.
They mean a lot.
I would be willing to come up off of all the energy in the world for a foot rub, yo.
She's not lying.
You promise to rub my feet? What you want today, boo?
And she don't forget either if you say it. Don't say you're going to do it and then be like...
And I'm going to be like that old Caribbean mama who wakes you up to wash dishes. Because I'm going to wait till you good and laying down and be like, hey. So... I still have the shea butter or the oil right here.
She'd be lifting it up, the oil.
You need this. You said.
And it's okay. I usually have enough energy to do it. Even if we don't have sex. I'd rather her feel good.
But that's what sex should be about.
Yeah.
It should be about wanting the other person to feel good, right? And getting joy from that. It shouldn't be just about taking.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a mind shift that makes the conversations a lot easier, right? Because then you can sit down and say to each other, hey, now I already know I'm sexy and I know I give you what you want. But what else can I do to make you feel good? What would you like? What do you like? What can I tweak and make better, right? It doesn't have to be, so last night, what you didn't do was, right? No, nobody wants to have that conversation.
No.
Nobody wants to engage in that. But if you're approaching this with what can I do for you? And then you wait to say, well, can I share what you could do for me? Or that person should respond, well, and what can I do for you?
Yeah. And I'm going to tell y'all straight like this. If you can't have a conversation about sex with your partner, you shouldn't be having sex with this partner.
Facts. That part.
Yeah.
If y'all can't talk and communicate,
what are you doing?
You're really missing out on a large part of your relationship.
Yeah. You bugging out, son.
Top 3 things in marriage that cause
told y'all
problems.
the first 2 episodes.
Told y'all the first 2 episodes.
Better pay attention, take notes.
Sex, money, communication. What nobody ever told us, and I wish they had.
It's how intertwined.
Communication and sex, y'all. Big. It's huge in marriage. It's humongous, and it's important.
Yeah.
It's important. So how do you set the stage?
For the conversation, for the sex itself, or both?
Both.
Let's do both. For the conversation itself, do not do this at the end of a work day unless you have to. And do not do this at that time of the month unless you have to. I'm going to say the best time to do this is when you're having fun.
Don't do it first thing in the morning either.
Yeah, especially if I'm not a morning person, because I don't even want to talk in the morning.
He doesn't even remember the conversations we have in the morning.
That's not my fault. That's not my fault.
Eyes open, mouth moving.
That's not my fault.
No recollection.
My mother used to wake me up at 5 a.m. and have full-blown conversations, so I got used to responding in my sleep and don't have any recollection. Thanks, Mom.
Kathy, I blame you.
And she'll tell me, we talked about this morning. I was like, you can't hold on to nothing that I said this morning because I was just trying to get the conversation over with.
So you said when we're having fun.
Yeah, when you're having fun, like, and don't bring it up serious. Don't stop the fun. Just be like, can we just talk about something that I was thinking about? You don't have to be heavy. Don't make every conversation heavy because then the other person may not want to have conversations because they're going to feel like it's too heavy. Conversations can be light. They can be fun.
What if I did just start with, instead of can we talk about something? Because I feel like even that, you would be like, oh,
yeah, it puts you on defense. It can.
Ah, boy. What if I was just like, yo, tell me how I can be better pleasing to you?
Yeah.
What if I just started the conversation like that? What if I didn't even make it about myself?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
How can I be better for you?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Who is Andy Stanley that said race to the back of the line?
Yes.
His concept, we heard a podcast that Andy Stanley did last year.
It was
I don't
phenomenal.
even know if it's from last year or if it's from over his old.
I think it's older.
And he was
I'll post a link to that too. It was phenomenal.
He said, in your relationship, you should be racing to the back of the line. And that mindset, when I heard it, I was like, that's deep. That means you're always looking to serve. If you're always looking to serve, there's no way you're not going to be happy in a relationship unless you're just with the most selfish person in the world. But if you're both doing it.
Well, that's exactly the key. If you're both serving, right? The idea of, because I've said this to a few people and they've been like, that sounds stupid. The idea of giving 100% and expecting 0 is that both parties are giving 100% and expecting 0. Listen, nobody in this world will ever be your all. It's impossible.
Yeah.
They cannot give you everything you need.
No,
That
you
is
shouldn't even
impossible.
expect that. Put that expectation on somebody.
You really shouldn't, because it is such an unfair expectation.
Yeah.
Right? But if I'm literally giving you everything I have to give, if I'm literally saying, here is my full effort, and their conversation should be around where that effort should be directed. However, that's a podcast for a different day. But
It was
here's
kind of
my
last week because we were talking about love language.
we were, right? That ties right back in, right? If I understand what it is that my spouse needs and I'm really giving 100% to that, there's no way that if I see my husband giving me his all, even if it falls short of what I would want, this is the part of 0 expectations, right?
Yeah.
Who cares? He gave me everything he had, and I'm going to give him everything I have in return. And then we'll have conversations about what needs are not being met in the middle. And that kind of relationship, when you're serving each other 100%, everybody should get every need met, and where the needs aren't being met, there should be a conversation. And maybe it's something your spouse can't give. For example, he bought me these really bomb noise canceling headphones, y'all. I have finally learned after 30 years of life that
30. Whoo!
that I am really sensitive to sensory things, and I take it all in.
It was a fight to buy those headphones.
And it's overload. Now, y'all, I'm also cheap, and any of you that know me know this. And so he bought me these Sony headphones, noise canceling headphones, man, and I was like, yo, how much do these cost?
She was like, I just get these other ones. They're like $50.
I'm like, like, it's fine. I could
Don't
try
cancel
again.
nothing.
Right.
They don't even play music good.
When I tell you these changed my life, right? What he couldn't give me was relaxation and calm and quiet that I didn't get all day, right? I work in an open air office. Well, right now I work in my house, but quarantine. Thanks 2020. But
Don't blame 2020. 2020 is like pissed. They're like, all I did was get here. Everything y'all doing ain't got nothing to do with me.
It's true.
I'm still 2020.
2019
take it or
rolled
leave
over.
it.
2019 came to stay. It was real
I
trash.
don't know why y'all blaming 2020. 2020 is just an innocent bystander.
In any case, I don't even remember what I was saying.
About the noise canceling headphones?
In any case, working in an open air office, I did not realize how much the background noise really unsettled me, and just set me on edge all day. And by the end of the day, I had no more energy left to give. And anybody that works with me that's watching this, please, my face, that facial expression had nothing to do with you. This is just, no, stop it. Facial expression had nothing to do with anybody, but I didn't realize how set on edge I was by the end of the day. And when I tell you, he can't do anything to bring me peace, right? But what he did do was recognize that these might help me just a little bit, even in the house, just have 15 minutes of total quiet and reset. That's serving, right? He can't do anything about it. Having conversation with me doesn't help. I don't want to talk after that kind of day. I just want to sit in quiet for like 15 minutes. And that's serving, right? It's simple, when you think about it, but it's only simple if you're thinking about it in terms of your spouse's needs.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that goes into like setting the stage for conversations about sex and actual sex itself, because some people don't need much stage setting while others need you to put on the whole play. So it's like,
I want to play.
you say you want to play, but act one, you ready. I told you I didn't say I wasn't gonna be personal. That was you.
Keep with your statement. Keep going.
So it's like you gotta know who you with and know what they need, but you're not gonna know that if you don't have the conversation. So the conversation is necessary. That's what I realized. You gotta have the conversation, or else you're never gonna know how to make your partner happy, ever. Especially if they're not very talkative, because she would have never known if I didn't tell her, because I'm that quiet.
So how do you get someone who's not talkative to talk about sex?
First you gotta get them comfortable, because for me I didn't feel comfortable talking about it. To get me comfortable talking about it, I feel like vulnerability breeds vulnerability. That's what I've seen. So when you're vulnerable, I'm vulnerable. You quiet, I tend to be quiet.
It wasn't that easy.
It wasn't that easy. You put in a lot of work. I didn't say it was easy. It was a lot. It was a lot of work. A lot. I can't express a lot even. If I could just scream it and not bust up my microphones, I would. Because it's that much that it took. Because I was not talking about it. And there's probably just some bondage from my own past that I hadn't dealt with. But
I mean, when you think about like the way that we at least for me, that sex was discussed when I was younger, it was always something
taboo,
dirty,
Yeah,
nasty. We don't discuss this. You about to say what? And you're not talking to children about it. And so it's very much like, when do you start talking to people about it? When do you start having these conversations? How do you teach people how to have these conversations with their spouses?
Yeah.
If you never talk to them about it. And I'm not advocating having deep, strange conversations with your children about sex.
They're not gonna receive that.
That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you always make it into something that's taboo and dirty and scary,
they're not gonna be able to talk to you.
they're not going to be able to talk about it. They're going to grow into that bondage, and you don't miraculously get married and all of a sudden you don't have this bondage anymore. That's not what happens.
That's not how bondage works.
And so a lot of that was stuff that we had to overcome. Making this thing that we've historically in childhood known as dirty into something that's really beautiful.
I appreciate
in the right setting.
The counsel we got before we got married from Pastor Way.
I do. You know what?
He was
Shout out
real
to Pastor
with it.
Monzel Way. He was so real with it because he literally said,
Hey, don't let nobody shame you about your sex life.
He said, whatever you do in your marital bed
Like, all right,
is
Pat.
between you and your spouse.
All right, Pat.
And don't let anybody
He was
shame you
yelling
about
at
it.
us. I
He
was like,
did.
all right, Pat.
And you know what? That was a little, it was helpful.
Yeah.
But still it didn't remove the years of bondage.
Mm-hmm. But it always like would ring in our heads, but it was like so much other things that were ringing louder that it still needed to be addressed.
Facts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of that is going to have to be work. If you have this issue, some of that is going to be work that you have to do within yourself to say, why don't I want to have this conversation? Why don't I want to have it? Right? Because where there's shame, you're not going to be able to talk about it. Where there's
Some kind of guilt or
some kind of
hurt.
guilt, that stuff is all barriers to intimacy.
Yeah. And it doesn't just hold you back from that person, it's holding you back from all your relationships. So, therapy helps. I'm a big proponent of therapy.
We are.
But,
Especially in the Black community, because we don't do it enough,
yeah,
quite frankly.
yeah, it's true. But as far as setting the stage, like physically, if any of you guys out there, I'm putting a big statement out right now. If you want to talk, I'm here. Women, don't force these guys to talk to me. If these guys want to talk to me, let them talk to me. Don't force them.
We'll drop his personal email address in the comments so they can hit him up so I don't have to see their questions.
Yes. But guys, if you want to talk, holla at me.
And one thing I would love for y'all to do is in the comments, if y'all have already figured out a way to have these conversations and to open up this door of intimacy, share it. Drop it in the comments. Share it with everybody.
Help some people out.
We definitely don't have the only way of doing this. I'm sure that there are other more creative ways. So go ahead
I'd
and
like
share.
to hear some other stuff.
I would love to, because honestly, we're still learning this ourselves. There are times where our communication is not the best. And I could tell you, we've been married now for, what year are we in? We're in 2020. So June will make 12 years. I got it.
Good job.
June will make 12 years we've been married, and I can honestly say we probably only learned a lot of this stuff last year.
Like, I would say we actually got good at a lot of the communicating last year.
It took a lot of work.
We were good at other things.
We were good at other things.
Communicating wasn't one of them.
Not our strong point.
But we're getting better.
We're getting better.
We are. Good job.
So,
Team Tate.
thanks for listening. Again.
Hold on. We ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. I got another statement. I mean, a lot of statements.
Okay.
All right. Because I know there's a lot of guys out there. It's like, whatever, man. I'm good at what I do. There's a lot of women out there too.
My wife loves this. Just ask her, kid.
All right. You may think you're good. You may think you're great. You might even be great. I dare you to ask your partner what else you can do, and I bet you get some stuff back. I bet you they tell you something else you could be doing that would make them happier.
We read a devotional this week. Probably the only thing I got out of that devotional, to be honest. It's all right. But I did get one thing out of that devotional.
What was that?
Best is the enemy of better.
Big facts.
Best is the enemy of better. You can always be better, and you should always be striving to be better.
Yep.
Better tomorrow than you were today.
Big facts.
And you can only do that with communication.
That's what I live by.
You can't really see yourself.
I'm always trying to get better because I know I need a lot of work.
Me too. So, go ahead. Drop in the comments any strategies you've used to open up intimacy in your relationships.
We're going to drop them
Don't
links.
get too graphic.
No, get graphic. That's fine. I'm okay with it. You're not going to offend me.
No, we won't be offended. But go ahead. Share with us as we shared with you.
Mm-hmm.
And until the next one, stay safe, y'all.
And did y'all finish your drink? Because I ain't finished my drink.
I didn't finish my drink, but we're going to finish it together tonight.
Better believe it.
Love y'all. Thanks for joining
Love
us.
y'all.
Looking at me, I can tell in your eyes that you're feeling me, baby. Close to me, so what you want?